Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm gonna try to get out here and get started on this porch. I want to get the porch all finished up, that way I can go ahead and cut the hole out for the door and actually start going inside through a door instead of crawling under. Then I start working on the floor and gable ends and that kind of thing. First thing I have to do is I've got to get rid of, you see all these knots. I've got to knock down these knots on this bottom log. Once I get the knots knocked down, I've got a little hammer or a power planer I'm going to run down through there and try to get it fairly flat. It's not going to be perfectly parallel to the porch post because, I mean, it's a log, it's tapered. I'd have to cut half of it away on one end. But I'm at least going to get it fairly flat. That way I can bolt the ledger board up to it and start setting my joist hangers and all that to start building this porch. When I start putting the decking on, I'll have to just trim each one to fit, because this one, it will be tapered on the backside, but there's really, I mean, there's no way around that. Not with using full length round logs. So I'm going to get some of this stuff moved out of the way and get started. The first thing I'm going to use this grinder with this little cut wheel on there. This is made for cutting heavy wood, trimming down logs, and you want to be sure you use good eye protection because this thing really throws it everywhere. As you can see, this little turbo plane, it throws the stuff everywhere, but it takes the knots off really fast. You can see how good this turbo plane works. Get over here where you can see it. I mean, it just whittles it right down. This is a pretty small grinder that I'm using it on. It's a pretty weak, cheap grinder. I've got another one somewhere. I don't know where it's at. It's a lot stronger, but I can't find it, so I'm making do with what I have right now. I'm not going to be able to make this log flat all the way down. The main objective right now is to get it flat enough I can bolt the ledger board to it. It's got a lot of swells where all the knots were, and I'm just trying to get all the humps and bumps out of it. So when we bolt the ledger board to it, it's not going to be real wavy. At least it'll be straight. It won't be parallel to the rest of the porch, but that's okay. All right, show you what I've got going on here. I take the little turbo plane on the grinder and I knock most of the meat off. This thing's full of humps and bumps and swells, and so get the majority of it out of the way. Then I come back with that little cheap little hand plane from Harbor Freight, little hand power plane, and then I start getting it flat. Once I get it fairly flat, I dug through, I know it looks bad, but I dug through some whole pile of boards I had, and I found one that's really straight, and I use it for a straight edge. Once I get it straight, then I take this little level, I'll set this up here, and then I just put it up there and make sure that I'm level, and then I get this whole 8-foot section nice and flat and level, and then I'll move down 4 feet. That's where I'm at now. I've got this first 8-foot done. So if I can hold this up here with one hand. You can see it's fairly flat down through there. And it's not perfect, and it's not going to be perfect, not for what I'm doing. So, but I'll get this part done, and then I'm going to move down 4 feet, which is half the length of this board, and do another 4 feet and just work my way all the way down. You can see how bumpy and all the knots and swells and all that stuff down through there. So I've got a long ways to go. And that's it. 4 feet at a time. Okay, I'm just about finished with the cutting the flat on this bottom log. It's taken pretty much all day to do it. And it's not perfect. It's just got a, you know, some spots have a really wide flat spot. Some are pretty narrow, but it's plumb, and it'll serve its purpose. It'll give me a nice flat spot to bolt the ledger board to start running the rest of my floor joists for the porch. So you can see I've made it all the way down. And it's not perfect. It's I mean, this log has a lot of taper, so you know, like, it's not going to be perfectly parallel with the front of the porch, but that part doesn't matter anyway. So you won't be able to tell it other than back at the very up against the house. That board, that's decking board that's going to be on there, will be on a taper. So next job is to get the ledger boards bolted up and get ready to start putting joist hangers and getting everything tidied up so I can start covering this thing up. I finally started getting a few eggs. It's not been real consistent. I've got one that's laying every day, and just got 2 today, 3 yesterday, so it won't be long and they'll all be laying. Actually, they're only 4.5, 5 months old. So started giving the chickens a little bit of corn every evening. It's supposed to help keep them warm. It's not really cold today, but since it takes longer to process the whole corn, it's supposed to help keep them a little warmer. And of course the pigs, they have to have their little snack too. I do have them free ranging during the day, so they get plenty of grass and stuff to nibble on, catch what few bugs are left. I hear hawks out here all the time, but I haven't lost one yet, so I don't know if I'm going to have any trouble with it or not. But so far I hadn't had any problems at all.